Welcome back to another episode of the Baseball Card Junkies podcast. I'm your host, followed with Mike from Ripping for Rookies, and then we got Arnie from carddeal.com. How we doing, gentlemen?
I'm still awake, doing good.
There you go. You got your uppers, your downers.
Uppers and downers.
Coffee's the upper. Oh yeah, one thing we forgot to mention about Arnie. I don't know, maybe it's just me and my deteriorating hearing, but it sounds to me like you finally hit puberty because you got a little bass in your voice now.
Maybe it's the new mic or the same microphone, but a new position for the microphone. Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
We got a couple dials over here.
Chat. We got Sean. He's cooking tacos and baseballs. We got Maddie. We got Titus. We got Larkin. How we all doing?
Yeah, Larkin, great job today in the break, man. You killed it.
Yeah, Larkin cleaned house.
Yeah, we kind of comped that card there, Larkin. What? Go ahead, Fuego. What was the value on that?
The last sold PSA 10 for that Bobby Witt auto sold for about $700.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Well, that Julio is also in a 10 is several hundred too. That one that Fuego got, the base Julio out of that box. That's a big checklist, and that Julio was pretty nice.
There we go. Yeah, I think that it was great.
Yeah, I mean,
how's it going, Chuck?
The question was, did we make our money back in this break? I truly believe we did, and then some.
Oh yeah. It was there was a lot to go around today. It was good.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, we're just gonna touch up on a couple of things that's gonna be coming down the chute here shortly. Get everybody's thoughts. So 30 October, we've got Allen and Ginter coming out. What are we thinking?
I used to I should say not bash it, but I used to just say I'll buy something else because I don't want to get the cards of the corn, the frying pan, and all the other odds and ends. But the more that I realize that the price point's still favorable for collectors, and then you do get multiple hits, I did just see today, which I'm excited about, and I saw it on Topps' post on Facebook, that they have lineup card relics now. And right away, I went to the comments, and people started bashing it. And I said, I just replied to one person, just don't buy it. Well, the price hasn't changed much, but $5 maybe. No. Right. And they're adding a new element to it, and it's a not a cut signature, but they do have autograph versions where it's a sticker auto on the top, but the window cut out is actually the lineup card from a specific game with a manager's handwriting, where they may cross out a name and put PH for pinch hit and then 7th inning, and then you'll get a little cut of that inside the die cut card, which is brand new. And you always find people to hate something, but most of the comments seem pretty favorable, and I think it's a great addition. I think it's cool.
That scorecard could have come from a historic game, like a World Series game, or
just a game that you were at, or a game that a team that you watch, or a player that you like. That hey, I'll never get a lineup card, but now I have both.
There you go.
I mean,
I always thought that Allen and Ginter had its own kind of fan base towards it, with the the different cards that were in there, the non-player cards and stuff like that. But now, looking at the price of the hobby boxes, you can get a hobby box of Update for how much? $140, $130?
$134.90.
Yeah.
$130, and you're guaranteed one hit, which is going to be a relic or an autograph. More than likely a relic. And then you go to Allen and Ginter, which is still at $120 price point, and you're guaranteed 3 hits. Yeah. Which one are you going to go for? I'll go for that. And the thing that happens is the non-player hits usually are more collectible than the player hits.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with what I like, and I think that's why I'm geared towards certain products, or Bowman over certain products, because of the upside in the 3 to 5 years with these prospects. You also have a chance where players can do better in the future, and then you dig back through those boxes. But Ginter is one of those products that does have the upside. Platinum Anniversary was the same way till it got real popular. And now it's like people are going, wait a minute, this is really good for 2 years. The third year, let's make this the same price. But as soon as it gets on the secondary market, it's gone. And then it's $80 more a box, or $100 more a box in this case, if you can find it. So I think this product hasn't done that, which I like.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think they had a little fun with the 23 Allen and Ginter series, advertising that, you got big names like Kevin Hart. He got autographs in the product now, and everybody's looking for his specific car with the auto and things like that. I mean, I didn't really hear too much about this product coming out, or I haven't even seen the checklist yet. So I mean,
yeah, this was 6 hours ago. I sent you this link in Fuego, but there's a picture of a lineup card, and then this is the. I don't know if there's a base version or not, but that's the auto with the lineup card. And
nice.
You can see some hand ink in there, which is cool. And then other stuff may not have it, but I mean, for something we haven't seen before, I don't see how that'd be a bad thing.
And look, we got Lucky P. He said out of Allen and Ginter, he got an Anthony Bourdain relic auto.
Didn't he just pass away a few years ago? He was the great. Yeah.
He was big on the Food Network.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
he was a great writer. He was very articulate when he would do his shows. Very, very interesting guy. Unfortunately, the demons caught up with him.
He lived life to the fullest. I will say that.
He did.
Yeah, he's seen a lot of places for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So another one that's actually coming out, Stadium Club, November 6th.
Expensive.
Well, I know Mike has picked up a couple of boxes and he got them relatively cheap. I think if I'm not mistaken, one box cost him less than $100 ish, or around there.
They cost me $149. I got them on Tops the day they dropped.
Okay.
Which was kind of one of those chance things where I was off. I just went on Tops. It dropped at $149. I said, I'm buying 3 boxes. I'm going to do a break with it because I know the price is going to go up as soon as it hits the secondary market, which is your Dave and Adams, your Blowout, and stuff like that. And then I told Fuego about it. He went on Dave and Adams. Yep, they're already at $199.
Yep. I guess that's what I meant, and it's, I mean, they're selling blasters they're selling hangers for $30 on Steel City for 24 update. Like, come on, guys.
It's ridiculous.
I mean,
like right now I'm on Dave and Adams. Okay. And a hobby box is $199.95. And then the compact box, which is the new format that I guess came out last year.
Yeah. With the
$85.
That would have one auto in there, and about I think it's basically half of a hobby.
Yeah, and there was always that purple, the purple that was numbered to 75, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you at least got that. There was one. It was it was an exclusive to that not retail because they're both hobby products, but it was that mini box that had the one auto. And who else did that first? Was those was it Archives? Archives lunch boxes. Yep. That was the first person to kind of break the two hobby box down into one, which I think is good for people that want to get a good product for a reduced price and get a guaranteed auto.
Exactly.
And it's on card for the Archives and Stadium Club,
Now with the 2024 rookie class, do you think $200 is good for Stadium Club?
No, I think $149 is.
Yeah, I really think that. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with understanding inflation and stuff going up, but when you start to do it 33%, 50%, and then you're adding a certain parallel that changes the entire print run by millions of cards, because when you add one parallel of an orange wave, like here's a orange wave, and then you have an orange shimmer. And then you have an orange true orange, and then you have an orange mini diamond, and then you have the orange reptilian snakeskin now. So it's like the amount of cards that get printed just to make up for that one new design, and then every color of that design. I don't like when they change the products that way. So for 200, I mean, listen, if you're going to add more and then make it harder to hit and produce more, don't change the price by a third. That's no. And it's not Tops that, listen, let's be fair here. It's not Tops that's messing with.
It's not.
Tops is not messing with. They're not messing with hangers. They're not messing with blasters. You could have bought them. They're not messing with hobby boxes. You could have bought them under $100. And yeah, they're 130, 150 now. But that's, we all get the same email. We all have a chance. So let's give credit there, because I do like that they're not messing with some of the big releases and the staples in the hobby. But 150 is, yeah, that's
Well,
gonna be.
I would have to disagree with you on that, because if you look at the prices of flagship in past years, they're not compared to what we got for 24.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's.
And there was no change really.
The only thing we talked about a month ago was about the different inserts that they kept throwing at us, right? They kept changing all the inserts, but those are technically not parallels of the base card, because they haven't changed the parallels of the base cards in any of these products in a long time. At least Flagship and Stadium Club, I think we all have the same stuff. The only thing that was new last year was that mini box, and then they added that purple to 75, because that was a new parallel for 23.
You know, because in my mind with Flagship, there wasn't really any substantial changes made, but somehow the prices jumped up like astronomically. Like, if I'm not mistaken, a jumbo box is like what, $400, $300?
300-ish, yeah, on the secondary
right now, yeah, which is kind of ridiculous.
But we were at 150 and $79.99 for a long time. That was the norm. 150 jumbo.
It should be that, and that should be the norm.
That was always great, yeah.
So it's like the more they add to the checklist as far as base set, that gives them reason enough to go ahead and beef up the prices, like you said, 33%.
And which I think it's backwards. I think they should just, if you're going to do that to sell more product, the volume is there. Why should we have to pay more? Like it's a limited product. So that's why.
What runs through my mind, the reason why I and this is just speculation, why prices are going up is because you got a lot of these breakers. You know, they're buying this product in bulk. You know, they're buying cases upon cases. So they figure that's a quick way to, you know, earn your money or whatever the case may be, which makes it harder for everyday collectors to actually get their hands on said product, because I can't recall going to a Walmart or a Target or even my LCS and finding a single hobby box or whatever the case may be.
Now, I will say this. Now, this is going to be two tales to this story. Number one is the price that the card shop gets it for on their first release, okay? And then our first release, which is basically just get a Topps account, click I would like to get emails, and then at 12:01 or 11:59, you get an email, you get online, East Coast, West Coast, whatever it is, you're ready, you want to buy. You can get 10 cases for a home purchase for the last handful of releases. Go on there next time when Allen and Ginter comes out on the 30th. Go online when they release it and click the case quantity. You can select 10 cases and have them sent to your house.
Now that is product dependent, is it not?
It is, but you could have done that with Series 1, Series 2, Update, Ginter. These are all options, which I think is crazy. 10 cases to go to somebody's house is absurd. Because they're giving, what they're doing is, and this is coming from multiple LCSs in my area, they're cutting their allocation. They're giving them less on the first release, and they're going to see what the price does on the second release. Now you have the three big players, Dave and Adams, Steel City, and Blowout, controlling those prices. So you have $100 a box going to the LCS, $125 pre-sale to the customer, and then you have $175, $200 going to those three big dogs one day later after the sale out, and then that's the price until release day. And then they go, oh, LCS, would you like it for another release? But it's now $125 a box. You're like, wait a minute, I just got it at $100. Now I got to pay $125. I can't do that to my customers.
It's completely opposite from years past, where it would be like, 100%. You know, as soon as it comes out, if you don't jump on it, the price is going to go up. But then there were so many releases coming out that if it was already out for 3 months, the price was down to the regular price. A couple months later, it was lower than the original price. So you would just wait on it. Now it's gone completely opposite. If you don't get it in the initial release, they're going to tack on 20%. And then the next time you see it again, it's going to tack on another 20%. And you're going to see, just like Update, the way it was. I wish I would have taken photo shots of when I was looking at that product when it first released. This is Topps Update in the late September through October, because I was mentioning back and forth with Infuego. I said it was $99 for a hobby box. Now it's $129. Now it's $149. You know, and a jumbo box even started out kind of high. I thought it was a little ridiculous when it was $179 for a jumbo.
Right.
And then it went to $219, $249. Now it's up to $299. So I wish I would have, you know, just screenshotted that and had, you know.
Yeah, but you know what it is. You know, that's what you're saying is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And now, another thing I heard is whenever they have a surplus of product, they're actually going back and saying, "Hey, you want to buy some more of this, but you have to bundle it with this other product."
This is true, Collie. Yep.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
It's the last 6 months
now.
Yeah, the last 6 months. And here's the thing: one thing that I'm not right, or I don't know more than the next person, but I said, to be fair, no business gets bought out and they do the same thing. They don't lower prices. They don't ramp down production. They do the exact opposite. They cut costs, they ramp up production, and they raise prices. That's just what companies do when they acquire somebody. So that's been expected. If you think anything else different is going to happen, you know, you'll be waiting a long time for change.
Yeah. But then you also, I'm pretty sure you both have seen this too. You've got those LCSs who don't have these Tops accounts or Panini accounts or whatever the case may be. They buy out a whole bunch of retail and tack on, who knows, 30-40% on top of retail.
Yeah. See, the difference is those shops do not have to. If you have a trade night and you do the Tops Rip night, you have a Tops account. You have requirements. You have things to do. You have to follow the rules, and you know, and that's fine. I mean, all companies do it. Apple does it if you want to sell your stuff in a Best Buy and so forth. But that's just the way business goes. But yeah, the guys that don't have those and they're buying from wherever, whether it's from someone they know or someone that has too much allocation and just needs to unload product for a reasonable price. That's the trouble is those guys are not held to, oh, I have to sell this box for at least $129.9 when the prices change. They can go and put $200 on a hobby box because they're the only show within 4 hours of any other card shop. I'm sure there's guys that do that, but that's the trouble we run into. There's no what do they call that? There's no you know, where people say they want to start making breakers have license and that. There's no not hobby watchdog, but there's no one to dictate what people do. As long as you don't have a Tops account, you're not held to anything. It's a free for all.
But just to go off of Epiphany's comment here, you also got to do some research, and especially if you're new into getting into breaks, you got to know who you're breaking with, because again, you've got individuals that they have the wrong intentions when they get into the hobby for breaking purposes. You've got some that look at making 50% profit. Then you've got some that, you know, offer a lot of products at a cheaper rate, or, you know, we'll take Mike, for example. And for him, he prices his breaks just to cover the cost of the product and shipping. You know, a lot of people don't do that. They look at wanting to make an astronomical amount of profit, and, you know, it kind of steers people away from getting into breaks. Yeah,
Arnie does the same thing with his pricing too. I mean,
and it's hard. There's times where I'm like, I want to get this, but I'm not paying that second price.
Exactly.
So if I only get a case or 6 boxes, that's what I get, and I'll wait till the next release. It's you can't also, like, you know, this isn't stuff that's rare. I mean, yeah, the hits are rare if you pull them, but just be patient. You can wait. Trouble is, though, if you go to buy that stuff down the road, you may get a little better deal, but there's not a lot of people that want that right now because they're always chasing that shiny new toy. Because we're all collectors at heart. That's just the difference. But one thing about the pricing with breaks, no matter who it is, I'll say this to anybody listening: purchase stuff through PayPal, but tie it to your credit card. Your credit card's fraud department. I've heard these horror stories where people just go on this. Not WhatsApp. It's whatnot. And I got burned for this $500 card. They never shipped this or they never shipped that. All these horror stories. I'm thinking to myself, Okay, you're 20 years old, you're 30, you're 50, whatever age you are. You've been on this earth long enough. How do people not know that there's like fraud departments with stuff? When you get scammed, when you legitimately get burned by something and you pay with a credit card, there's a department for that. You call them up and say, I was robbed. This person never gave me what I purchased.
Right.
And they'll take care of it for you. So I always tell people, and never use, this happened to me before too, one time with, never use funds that are in PayPal. So if you have $500 in your PayPal, just put it to your bank account. Keep it at zero. Your backup payment is your credit card. Click that option so it comes right out of your credit card or debit card. It's tied to your bank, and then sleep well at night. That's
there
it.
You go.
The best thing you can do for buying from anybody. I don't care if it's $10 or something expensive. Just cover yourself, because you'll have a leg to stand on when it comes to that.
Yeah, definitely.
You got a trail. That's what it comes down to.
And then, like Fuego said, do your homework, which is good. Watch The Breaker for a week or two. See what they do on a weekend. See what their stuff's like. Look at the people in the chat. Chat with them. That's all free. You have to put some work into this hobby to get on the right side of things. So,
touche. Couldn't say it better. So I was gonna bring up a third product, but I'm not.
Okay. He did some research on it.
I mean, we could talk about it. So on October 25th, which was yesterday, Panini dropped something called Impeccable Baseball. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1 pack, 10 cards with 6 on-card autos. Okay, and one of the designs of this particular product kind of resembles a color blast from football or basketball. Okay, but the caveat is they want $500 for this product.
Not interested.
Exactly.
No. Here's one thing with that. We talk about high-end products and, oh, that's not in my budget. It's just like the 5 boxes of, was it Sterling? I think I did one box with everybody. I think it came to like 80 some bucks, $85 or $83, per person. And you're guaranteed that mini box with the guaranteed auto. That's the only way most people can do that product, whatever it is, at $500 with 5 autos or $600 for 6 autos, whatever. When I hear those large prices, though, as a collector, I go, okay, how much can I get of my favorite product? And I go, Bowman. Okay, that's like a half a case of blasters. I'll go there. That's what I'm doing. That's just me. Now, I would just say that's a good thing to do. What can you get for that 600? Can you buy one of your cards you've been saving for a long time? Can you put that towards a bigger card for, another year or two to come by that you've been saving up, that you really want to get, whether it's something old and vintage or new and modern that's expensive? There's a lot better things you can do with $500 that has the name Panini in it, or any baseball card company for that matter. It's a lot of money for a box.
I mean, and here's what confuses me. Okay, so this particular product is new. They want $500 for it, but what are you giving me in return? You no longer have active players. You no longer have the licensing. I mean,
and how much of
what
it
else is there?
How much of it is sticker?
So,
Panini might be all sticker.
I can only tolerate but so many cool Papa Bell on-car autos if they're out there.
There are probably some cut signatures made out of old checks.
I take a cut signature.
See, I'm the opposite on cut signatures, only if it has to do with baseball. If it's a cut signature from a contract, I'm saying, why the hell did you tear that up? If it's a cut signature from him buying milk and groceries, I don't want that on a baseball card. I just don't. I know they're cool, but sometimes you see like the check.
Yeah.
And I just want to know what he wrote that check for. It's like a shoe repair.
Now that would be interesting, right?
And I've seen those checks at auctions,
or even random letters. Because I know that there's some letters that these companies got their hands on and just cut out the "Sincerely Yours."
Yeah,
Joe Schmuckatelli.
Yeah, they'll buy an estate sale, or they'll buy the entire estate from X player and have the rights to their name, and they'll sell that to other card manufacturers like Leaf and things like that. I mean, I think Leaf is the only one that has the Costanza auto. George Costanza. He's an expensive auto, and they make some pretty cool cards. But Topps, I think Topps would love to get that, but it would cost a lot of money, I think, to get that away, or whenever that expires. I bet you Topps would go after something like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And in time, they're going to, and they'll have the money and the leverage, and the connections with the famous people that own that business. But yeah, I'm just Panini, great product, great looking cards, but no, not that kind of money.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much all the upcoming stuff that's coming out. Okay. Now we're going to get into the meat potatoes of it with about 26 minutes in. All right. Postseason. There were a couple of players that have made a name for themselves throughout the postseason, even if it was just through one series, whether it be the wild card, the division, or the championship, or whatever the case may be, that really stood out, made a name for themselves. Okay. And hell, we've got some players that are currently in the World Series right now that have been doing great things since day one. Okay. Their collectability should have an impact based off their performance. So with that, what are some players that you guys can come up with that, let's just say, I know the players, the two teams that are in the World Series right now, they never went through the wild card, got that. But are there any players that stick out to you that actually you see a bump in their collectability?
I do. I actually have I have 4 players, and none of them are in the World Series right now. But I also put some kind of limits on the way that I did it. Okay, if you got eliminated in a wild card, or you only played 4 games in a wild card, didn't count. You had to play more than 5 games. All right, because look at Michael Harris. He's batting .620. He batted .625, but he only played 2 games. Okay, so he was eliminated. The players that I'm looking at are, how do I put it? Okay, players that are expected to do good in the playoffs.
Okay,
I kind of took them out of the running too. Okay, they're expected to do good. They're being paid that money. Is it going to affect their collectability? Yes, no. Soto, he was like one that I took out. Is he going to gain any more from the World Series, from the playoffs? Even though he's having a great playoffs, is his collectability going to go up anymore? No, I think Juan Soto has a very good base of collectors. I looked for players that are up and coming, or players that have made a comeback in the playoffs for their collectability.
Okay.
That's the way I looked at it.
Give us one player that you got on your list.
Okay. I got one player, San Diego Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Okay.
I think he made a comeback. I think he's going to be more collectible now. He went into a downslide. He was like one of the highest collectible players out there from his rookie year through until he, got, hit with the steroids.
Right.
But Tatis has in the playoffs this year batted .423, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, 26 total bases. He's been quiet this year. I mean, he hasn't been quiet. He's had a decent season this year, but it's been quiet. It's not been publicized. I think.
Do we think the media is part of that?
I definitely think the media is part
because
of that.
The fan base and guys like us that do follow and collect cards and around the game a lot, and stats and sports collectibles. Right. I think that he's still the same person. I mean, he's still really good.
Yeah,
and he went from an infielder to an outfielder, and then became a platinum glove winner. Like that's pretty hard to do. And his defensive WAR is pretty high. So
it is pretty hard to do.
It's impressive.
And if the Padres would have made it to the World Series, that would have put him on the national stage. They didn't make it to the World Series. But I think his collectability is going to go up. I mean, it was high. It went low. I think it's going to come back up. I think next year you're going to see his collectability even a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's my number one guy. I do have a few others. If anybody else would like to go,
Well,
I could run down my list.
I
well,
have one
hold
that's
on.
complete one.
Before you even do that, I do want to, because Tatis is an actual good example. So what I'm using is market movers, but scratch the dollar figure
Right.
from the equation. Okay. If you take a look at it, you see, yeah, this was probably the time around here, around 2022, where we got hit with the
PEDs.
the ringworm
Yeah.
type deal. Okay. You see it taking a dip. Okay. Now, I think if 2025 he comes back, he has a stellar regular season, all-star game, does great things. I do actually believe his card collectability will actually go back to as close to where it was when he peaked back in 21.
I don't know.
Not the COVID numbers. I would definitely
Yeah.
say that because of I think that's an anomaly where we have to go, okay, let's take that with a grain of salt. But
Okay.
to go back up real close to that, I agree with Infuego. I think he will. And I said this before on another topic that he brought up. He did that stuff when he was injured, away from baseball. He was doing it to get better. He didn't do it during the season to hit more home runs and do that. Now, how the Hall of Fame looks at that in 20 years, if he's still playing and all that good stuff, that's another conversation. But from someone that is a purist, like, hey, you didn't do this, you should be in the Hall of Fame. That's how I stand on stuff. I think all players should be able to take whatever the hell they can do to get back on the field. And I think all owners should go out and say, hey, listen, we want our players to be able to take whatever it is. And then for 30 days, they'll have a rehab period in the minor leagues. And then by the time they get tested to come back, they will have nothing in their system. And it's not like I'm saying go out and, hey, do a bunch of cocaine, right? Like these are people taking medication that is helping them rehab faster.
To rehab, exactly.
They're not trying to do this to
get a competitive edge.
To get a competitive edge. These are just guys trying to get back on the field faster. We're talking about billionaires that spend $300 million on a player. They're the ones that are going to have the say in this. How the players are going to react, that's a different story. But I don't think people are going to really be like, oh, remember the time he juiced and he did this and he did that. I don't think it's going to be.
It's not like
as time passes,
steroid era when they were juicing for years.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, he was suspended for some time. But look at the first game Tatis had when he came back. He went 2 for 4 with a home run and a double. I mean,
look at Clase. Clase we got from in the Corey Kluber deal when we traded Clase he went to the Rangers. We got Clase. Clase was banned for a whole entire year. No one talks about it. We got him and we couldn't use him for a whole year. He was banned for PEDs, and now he's got 4 All-Star appearances now.
Yeah.
So, and he had 1 save shy of the record. For the AL, he had the record, but for the NL, it was someone else. I think they had 1 more save. And they both put up massive numbers, but no one talks about that.
Right.
And I think it only matters if they do make it to the Hall of Fame where that conversation would be an issue. But for collectible cards, because look at all the guys. Look at Canseco. Canseco cards still sell for money. Roger Clemens rookie cards sell for a premium. Even as low numbered autos you pull out of Transcendent and all these other high end products, they all sell well. People still collect them, and they're not going to stop. So, I think that's a good one to pick. Tatis. What do you have in Fuego in terms of? Do you have anyone that stands out to you?
Well, one person who actually stood out to me, is definitely Stanton. Okay, we're talking about somebody who did not play a full regular season. Okay, but when he did come back, he ended up finishing his regular season with about 27 home runs, batting about 260, 270. But now it's like he dug down deep and just turned out to be a complete monster during the postseason. Okay, I mean, division series, he got about 2 home runs. The championship series ended up winning LCS MVP, and then game 1 of the World Series yesterday came through with another clutch moment, despite the fact that we did take a loss. But now, this is the Stanton that I believe is worth that $325 million contract.
Yeah. However, I guess one tangent to this is taking when you're labeled a certain type of player, those players are the greats. They expect you to, let's say you play at a level of a 9. We want you to play at a 10. If you come to the playoffs and you're a lower utility guy and you play at a level at a 4, we want you to play at a 5. That's just kind of what is expected, in my opinion, of everybody, whether it's a reliever, bullpen, it doesn't matter of the position. I think you're just expected to elevate above your normal play. And that's just how I think of things. I think of all sports like that. Like, okay, you made it, but who rises up? And that's why you talk about people that are ready for the big moment, the big stage, the clutch shot. They want the ball. They want this. They want that, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, whatever. We hear that all the time in sports and sports history. And that's why some guys are remembered and some guys are forgotten about. There's a lot of good players like Kirk Gibson. Yeah, he hit that big home run. Okay, big moment, the injury. All right, cool story. Eckersley's known for all these other things. But then you're like, wait a minute. Then he went to a closer and now he's a Hall of Famer, and he went through a lot in his personal life. So you dig deep into these guys, and some are just better in clutch situations. That's what I think it comes down to. And yeah, Stanton, Judge isn't making his weight. He never has. I mean, look at his numbers just alone versus Cleveland. Yeah, I know he hit a home run, but he's got one of the worst records against Cleveland. And his playoff record's not bad. He's like a 250 hitter. But for that kind of money, we need you to be a clutch 250 hitter.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, Arnie. Let's take Stanton and Judge and compare them in the regular season. Okay, Judge, 58 home runs, 144 RBIs. Stanton didn't come nowhere near that.
Yeah, Judge may be the sole reason why they're there, and Soto as a combo. Those two. Period.
Now, let's go into the postseason. The roles are reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Judge is not even at 200 for a batting average.
Wow. Now, are we talking just for the up to this point, all playoffs?
Up to this point, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. He probably brought it because I think me and my brother-in-law were chatting about this not too long ago, how he does struggle against Cleveland, but he struggled in the regular season. It's just certain teams, guys do really good and some don't do as good. But his overall playoff numbers, they're not terrible, but when you think Aaron Judge, and I think Aaron Judge, I think, okay, I just want to see him. And he very well can turn it around, but I just don't see him over the course of his career in the playoffs yet really stepping up.
Well, I mean,
just in these games, but Stanton is probably the number one player on this entire list that we could talk about because
I honestly believe, especially with Stanton, we are not gonna get another 54 home run MVP season from Stanton no time soon.
No. Oh God, no. The guy can't stay healthy. He's older.
Correct.
But that's another thing we talked about. These are he's got over 400 home runs, and it's like
429 to be exact.
Nobody talks about it. I mean, the guy's amazing. The guy's great. He's an amazing hitter.
He was supposed to be the guy when he went to New York, and then Judge quickly overtook that.
Sure.
Yep. Quick.
Yeah.
And he it wasn't because of media. It was because of what they paid him. So I think that's where I'm thinking, like, is Judge just trying to hit the home run ball all the time? If he's slumping, whatever. I don't know. It just seems like his playoff numbers.
Because if you noticed at one point, because if you noticed at one point with the Yankees, it was Judge, it was Stanton, and it was Gary Sanchez. Gary moved on to San Diego. Okay. Nobody made any mention of Stanton after that point. Now we got Stanton, we got Judge, and we got Soto. We got everybody talking more about the duo of Judge and Soto, but nobody's really made mention of Stanton until the postseason.
Yeah, until the ALCS award. Yeah, I mean,
Correct.
it's true, but well deserved though. I mean, who got the MVP? Well, did they have an MVP? They don't have an MVP for the
not for the division series. No.
Okay.
You know, so hopefully, as of right now, Stanton is still living up to the height of his performance in the championship series. But now, my biggest concern is will this performance carry over into the 2025 season? Because now he set a bar for himself that people are going to hold him accountable to. You know,
I think with that price point, it's what they're paying him. I think it's expected at every at bat to do something good. That's for that kind of money. That's what these big guys are supposed to do. The reason he got that money is because of how good he played.
Yeah, because of that MVP season.
Yeah.
But only time will tell. So, who else you got on your list, Mike?
Well, we're going to hear from Arnie, who he's got on his list.
Yeah, just a complete biased pick though. Obviously Quan, because Quan
on my list
is Quan. But kind of an outlier for me is Brian Rocchio
on my list.
Okay, yeah. So and the reason I bring up Rocchio is he struggled. They platooned his position throughout the whole entire year. It's not like that was his position for 160 games. But Rocchio was a pretty good prospect. You can look back at his prices back in 2019. I think it's his first Bowman Chrome Auto. They were high back in 19. They were expensive. They held good value. And then, time passes, new prospects come out and move to this year where we've been shuffling players in and out at that position. He makes that infield drop where Aaron Judge pops it up on the infield and people bash him. But as soon as that happened, it's like something turned for him. And he just started to play well. And without his play and Quan's play, we're probably not winning any games. I know there's those big hits that get all the media hype and the attention that won those games. But, yeah, for me, it was Quan and Rocchio that were playing small ball and steadily on base and great in the field. He made some amazing plays. Okay, he dropped an infield pop-up. All right, what are you going to do? I mean, people make errors all the time. The best do it. But his plays on defense saved him, and him and Quan were my two for Cleveland.
Okay.
They were my two also. So that's 3 of my 4 off the list. If you want to go back to me, I have one more. Like I said, the players that I picked did not make it to the World Series because pretty much the players that are in the World Series, they're being paid to play. So I don't think that their collectability is going up. And the other one that I had was on the Yankees, the relief pitcher, but relief pitchers are relief pitchers. I don't think there's much collectability there with relief pitchers.
Now, how about like the 2 diving catches by the sliding dive by Verdugo, and then the one over in the left field netting area with that short wall that he dove for. Those were 2 huge plays in that game where it's a 3-2 game going into the bottom. Or well, actually, they were winning, and then it was obviously what happened in the 10th inning. But going to the 8th and 9th, those 2 plays were huge.
Yeah,
they were, but I don't think they were critical.
I thought the one in the one where when he popped him up and he dove in, that one I think was critical because they had the lead at that time.
Yeah.
That's why I thought that was critical, and it got them to 2 outs, I believe. But again, moving the hobby needle, we're talking 1 game. We got to see a lot more baseball.
And Sean, that's why this player did not make it onto my list because nobody goes out to buy bullpen players. And no matter how many saves you have, the collectability is not there. My last player that I'm going to put up is believe it or not, it's from my division rival, the New York Mets. Mark Vientos had a very good playoffs.
Yes, he did.
one of the leaders for the Mets. He batted .327 with 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. And his regular season, he had a .266 batting average with 27 home runs. How many games did he play? He played 111 games with 413 at bats. Strikeouts, yeah, it's not good. He's your typical power hitter. He's going to hit your home runs, and he's also going to strike out. But he's only 24 years old, so it kind of fits the mold of a player that would be collectible. I mean, he's going to get your home runs. He plays a good position. Where is he? He's at third base. So third base, he's playing the hot corner. I think his collectability is going to go up.
I'm with you on that one 100%. Because I have him as a off-season. Well, I shouldn't say off-season, but a guy that I've been buying up some of his cards. Also we all pulled a lot of his cards probably.
Oh, yeah.
Put them aside because they didn't have any value, so you didn't think much of it. But his stats for the year, I do recall, it was somewhere in the 250, 260 batting average.
Yeah.
But yeah, that postseason, 327 average, 55 at bats. He did make that error, came right back up to the plate and hit that grand slam. 5 homers, 14 RBIs, almost 1,000 OPS. And this kid's a rookie. He only played in 101 or 105, somewhere in there, just under 110 games, had 27 homers. If you do the math on that, which I'm not smart enough to do, but he would be in the conversation.
He's at 40 home runs if he plays a full season. This
kid's a rookie, hit 27 home runs.
Yeah.
And he's on a team where you're going to get Mauricio coming up next year. That's been out for the whole year. You got Lindor, whether they pay Soto or they get rid of Polar Bear.
You don't know if Alonso's going to be there or not. Could he have benefited from Alonso being there? Yeah, I think he could have. Absolutely.
The kid's not afraid of the limelight.
No.
24 years old, playing third base, hitting that many homers on the big stage, and in New York too, and you know how that goes. But yeah, it's great to see some of this product where we have these big hype names, and then you go, oh, I've got these Mets cards that I didn't think the box was worth anything. Then you go back and go, wait a second, I got some Mark Vientos autos. Now they're worth 5 times the guy that we were chasing.
One person that is watching the stream that is probably still in here, Johnny, Epiphany card collector, says hold on to your rookies for at least 5 years. All rookies, no matter who. And that's a rule to live by.
Yeah, definitely.
You never know what's going to happen.
Nikki makes a good comment here. Kwan's performance was wasted because he was stranded on a base quite a few times. Yeah, I think we can point to all these players where Tatis, what does he bet? Third? Where does Tatis usually
He's
bat?
usually around the third.
Yeah.
Either third or cleanup.
Okay. So yeah, it's
okay. So we was talking about an increase in collectability. Have y'all noticed any players that may have potentially had or will have a decrease in collectability based off performance of the postseason? Like the first one that comes to my mind would be Judge.
Judge has a very strong base. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Down, yeah. Does it still collectible? Yeah, but I do think it goes down because of how much it's been going up over the last 3 months as he got closer to. Once he got over 30 home runs, that crest of 30, and then he was in the talk of can he do it? Because when he hit 30, people started doubling the season going, can he get to 62 or 63 or 64?
Okay.
So we started to see that creep up. I will tell you this, that I have I had a card that I was sitting on, and granted, I had it for X amount of dollars and it didn't sell. It finally sold. I got lowball offers of like $275 to $325, and then I eventually sold it. So I did sell 3 Judge cards in the past week. I don't have a lot of them, but what I had listed was selling. So I don't know if that's going to change now that it's 1-0 Dodgers, and if he struggles. Now if he doesn't struggle and they win a World Series, I don't think it matters. I don't think people care because he has the ring, and whether he was a water boy or batting 400 for the rest of the series, it doesn't matter because he's got that big following. But I do think it's going to go down, or already has, based on how hyped it was. Like Ohtani, his prices are built in for him to win multiple World Series and be the #1 guy and be the multiple year MVP. I think the price is already baked in what they're going for now. And I could be wrong. They could go up if the Dodgers win this thing. whatever the scores are and whatever the series score finishes at, I think that Ohtani's cards can definitely still go up. It's going to be nuts, but I'm definitely not buying at those prices.
So I have a challenge that Nikki said for collectability going down. Pick a Philly not named Harper. Wow, where do I start? First of all, I don't know what the collectability is of most Phillies. I don't know what the collectability of Schwarber is. I don't think it's going to go up. I don't think it's going to go down. Castellanos, I don't know who collects Castellanos. The one that I'm going to have to pick is the one that I PC, and that's going to be Alec Bohm. I think his collectability is going to go down, but since I own the majority of Alec Bohm rookie cards, it's all dependent on me. So, yeah, I would say that Alec Bohm would be the one that if you were collecting him, and I think it started after he had that hand injury, and he just was not the same coming back in late August through September. And it just didn't look good. And then I think when it came to the playoffs, he was very anxious about trying to get a hit, trying to do too much, not waiting, not sitting down. For God's sakes, in 4 at-bats, he saw 5 pitches. 4 of them he swung at and grounded out or popped out. So, yeah, he's the one Philly that I see going down. I mean, Wheeler pitched well. Nola pitched well. All the starting pitchers pitched well. The bullpen exploded, but yeah, that's the one that I think is going to go down.
I have a question for Infuego. I'm sure he'll get who this is. I'm sure you will too. But who is the one player on the Yankees right now that has the ability to see his cards go up quite a bit? Whether they've been down, whether there was a guy that comes out of nowhere. Who do you think that's active on the starting roster right now in the lineup
team? For
the Yankees?
Right now, the one that I think that has some wiggle room would have to be Jason Dominguez.
If he appears.
He appears. I mean, he has appeared as a pinch runner.
I think that's going to be if they need, Jazz could go up, but my number one, because the guy went down so much after being so expensive, is Volpe.
Mm-hmm.
Because how expensive he was. You know, you could a chrome refractor auto was $500 ungraded. Now you can go out and get them for what, 125, 150, somewhere in there, I bet. But I think Jazz would be one. But Volpe, I think, has the highest ceiling right now. Yeah, Nikki says Volpe.
Real quick, I want to go ahead and thank my brother for the super chat, and he wants to know, do I ever yank D's? So
that's funny.
No, not yet. But Volpe,
just because he was so expensive, he's their starter. You know,
I would see more of a likelihood with Volpe than Jazz.
Oh yeah, because he's going to be there for a long time. He's their guy, you know.
And then another name, and he's a rookie, Austin Wells.
Yeah, he had a great season for Rook as a catcher. He's definitely on the rise.
So I mean, but going back to the whole Judge argument, with if he keeps performing the way he does now in the postseason and the Yankees do not win a World Series, I do see his collectability dropping a little bit because still people are going to be like, oh, this is his first rodeo. He still has a few years in him. The kid's 32. He's not going to be at his top performance going forward.
He's not going anywhere. This is the contract he's in. This is it.
Yeah, and with age, it comes deterioration, wear and tear. We're not going to get 62 home run Judge again at all. Not even. I'll be surprised if we get 58 home run Judge again.
What if he becomes the DH? Well, you got to get rid of Stanton at that point.
Well, that's a long time. I mean, I think we talked about the Mike Trout effect, where if he gets too injured and they're paying him too much money, let's slide you over as DH or first base, but that's in your later years. Which
Right.
Judge is perfectly healthy. You know, when he's healthy, he's great. When Trout's healthy, he's great. He just hasn't been playing that as we expect in the playoffs. That's the only thing. He's still great. He could turn this up and hit 2 homers tonight. This could change quickly.
It can, but
And it can go sideways too. Yeah, I'm not. Put it this way: you look at some of the odds, and just look at any of the betting. I always say, if you're unsure, go see what Vegas has the odds at. They're usually pretty spot on. And see what the odds are right now today. You can look at all the future bets for MVP of the series. Who's going to hit this? Who's going to hit that? Who's going to do this? The favorite stuff is not Judge.
Well, we'll see how that goes down. But as of right now, I mean, I'm on board with what you both are saying. Those that are getting paid the big bucks are expected to perform even at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we'll see. And then for those that are underperforming, hopefully they pick their game up, and hopefully, you know, it turns out okay for them and it carries over to the next season, to be quite honest. Because I mean, I got a feeling with those that are expected to perform at their peak and are not, it's probably just stage fright, you know, with Judge, for example, because Soto, this is not his first rodeo. You know, he's already got a ring with the Nationals. He's picking up with the Yankees now than he did with the Nationals. So I mean, we'll just have to see how it goes. But like, you know, with Freeman, Ohtani, I don't really see too much coming out of Mookie, but definitely Ohtani. You know, I mean, there's really not that much room for improvement.
No. I think there's so many people, so many players that are established that, you know, this is the playoffs and this is what you're being paid to do to get us to the playoffs to win a World Series. Can you earn your pay?
Yes,
that's what it comes down to. So, you know, whether you've been there before or not, you know, maybe and Soto just hits a home run.
Soto just killed one too.
Now with Soto, here's a curveball question. With his performance in the World Series, will that dictate the extension contract as far as money is concerned in the offseason?
I honestly don't think the Yankees can afford him.
No, I think it's going to be the Mets. I think he goes to the Mets.
I honestly, I think he's going to go somewhere, and it unfortunately, it's not going to be the Yankees.
Okay.
It very well could be, because the media will definitely play into this, and he'll be the king of New York. But you got to remember, he was the best player in 18. He had the best rookie season. It wasn't, you know, the guys that we talk about today. It was Acuna. He was came out of nowhere, and he also carried and propelled a lot of that 18 update product too. Before it was Ohtani, you know, it was him and Acuna.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going to go. Nicky says he would like to see him in Philly. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, the Phillies have so many players locked up in these $30 million a year contracts. You got Turner, you got Harper. They're going to have to clear a lot of people out, you know,
right?
To do that. I mean, you got Castellanos, Real Muto. Who else has a big contract? You know, there's 5 players on this roster that have $20 million a year contracts. Plus, you're going to have a couple players coming up that are going to want new contracts, like Alec Boehm next year. I mean, what's he going to get paid? You know, solid third baseman, good batting average. He may not be on the team next year. They're going to have to do a lot of clearing house. You really have to start thinking about, you know, what is right. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, on another podcast. It's like who's stealing money, who's worth their contract. And it came down to the point. It's like, okay, well, I look at Brian Reynolds. Would you rather have 2 Brian Reynolds contracts and Brian Reynolds players, or 1 Bryce Harper? I would take 2 Brian Reynolds at that contract.
Yeah.
Because you're getting 2 players. They're putting up pretty much the same amount of numbers as Harper, maybe a little bit less on the home runs, but now you got 2 of those players. So you're going to double the home runs. It's just like, I think everybody gets caught up in these power hitters and not focusing on how you win baseball games. You get players on base, and then you knock them in. Not everybody swings for the fence.
This is where that 5 tool comes in.
Well, I would even take a 4-tool player, because every batter's turning into a 1-tool player. Swing for the fence. Yeah. Okay, great. You got 1 run. Big deal. I'd rather hit a home run with 2 players on base. I'd rather have 3 runs than 1.
Right.
And it's like, even with the Phillies with their lineup, okay, well, we're going to put Schwarber as leadoff because he might get another bat. Okay, great. He hit 17 leadoff home runs this year. Great. So he's got 17 home runs and 17 RBIs, and we're up 1-0. You saw what happened in the playoffs. He hit a home run in his first at bat, and they didn't get a hit the rest of the damn game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. My rant's over.
End of rant.
So I guess it's pretty we'll just have to see how it all plays out. And I guess next week when we get back together, we can just target more the World Series and everybody that's involved, see how they've been doing, because by next Saturday we should be Game 5, getting ready for Game 6, maybe.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Yeah, because
unless it's
tomorrow there's no game. Then they're going to the Bronx on Monday for 3 games. Then they're off Thursday, and they'll finish up the series in LA.
We could be in Game 7 next Saturday.
Hopefully.
If it goes 7. Yeah.
Hopefully. I would like to see the series go Game 7.
I would love it too. It'd be great for baseball.
Yeah, definitely. So that pretty much wraps up the show for tonight. But before we do, we're going to do some World Series predictions. Mike, what do you see at the end?
I just want to see good baseball. I am not favoring one team or the other. I don't really care who wins. I want to see a good series. I would like to see it go to 7, and I wish they would have saved that grand slam home run for the 7th game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Yankees. I'm sticking with I don't change anything. I'm going to still say the Yankees. That's what I predicted in 6 games.
Yankees in 7?
Yankees in 6 for me. I just think they win. Yankees.
I believe Yankees will take it all in Game 6 as well.
Wow. Okay. So you're predicting coming back to New York and knocking some snot out of the Dodgers, huh?
If we win tonight and we win the next 3, that'd be great.
You don't have to go back to LA and you win.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but these games are
tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
That's what makes the playoffs fun.
Yeah. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so. And I want to thank Mike and Arnie for hanging out, talking baseball.
No, thank you.
Okay. This is the part of the hobby that I enjoy most, where we just talk about random baseball and who's selling for what you could get for this or none. It's more to it than that. So this is the best part of the hobby that I find therapeutic for me. So
yeah, I agree with
all that being said, any last words? Oh yeah, one last caveat. Tomorrow we have part 2 of the celebration of life for Steve Marquez. Mike, please provide the rest of the details for that.
We got the tomorrow we're going to have the raffles and card sales. Maddie and I are going to do some card sales, but we also have a bunch of raffles. I did post it on YouTube. I didn't share it to Discord yet, but let me post the link here. Now I got to do a few things. I got to copy and paste here, and then I have to go to check this out. Actually,
I got it, Mike. Don't worry about it.
You already got it. You probably already got it.
Yep, I got it right here.
That's because I sent you the email.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would not have it.
So we got a lot of good stuff going on. I think we got about 10 items that we're raffling off tomorrow. We do have a lot of spots sold for it, which is awesome. So yeah. So there's the link. Starting at noon, the way we're going to do it is we're going to start doing sales on some of the raffles that we have going on, and then we'll do some sales, and then we'll sell some more spots in the raffles, and we'll do some more sales. And then when we start to feel like we're comfortable doing the raffles, we'll start doing the raffles. There's a few that I'd like to hold until the very end, like the Onyx baseball raffle, and we got 3 Onyx signed autograph baseballs right here. With that one, it's $10 for 1 spot, $25 for 3 spots. We got Taste of Philly. We got boxes of Tasty Case going out. We got treats from New York, Arnie, or from Canada. All kinds of Canadian goodies that we can't get down here. Arnie's giving away break credit. I actually have everything right here. $75 break credit and 2 $25 break credits. It's $3 per spot, 5 for 10. We got Dom, the one and only Dom mystery pack. It's a $100 value on there, $2 a spot, 3 spots for $5. We already have 36 spots sold for that one. That one's doing really well. All kinds of stuff. I think I can actually copy and paste the spreadsheet here. So you can take a look at the spreadsheet and see what's on there. I think that might be a little bit easier than me explaining everything. So yeah.
Awesome. And you're going live at 10 o'clock tonight. Are you not there, Arnie?
Yeah, 10 o'clock. We don't have, I mean, there's some stuff, but every slab is going to be $10. It's just a quick sale, however long it takes. So 10 o'clock on my channel, all PSA and SGC slabs. Some will be close to value, some will be way above value, some will be a little under, but everything will be $10. Pretty simple, and we'll just run through them a few times until they get claimed, and then see how it does.
There you go. All right, everybody. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us, and hopefully we get to see you tomorrow on part 2 of the celebration of life for Steve. So with all that, have a good night, and go Yankees.